The very first thing you need to consider as you're developing your self-defense strategy is knowing when to stop shooting. Recently, I had a guy in my class, his name is Roberto. So Roberto and his family, they went on vacation, and when they came home, Roberto got a surprise that he really wasn't expecting. When he opened up the front door, he caught a burglar standing inside of his house. Now, the burglar took off running, and Roberto went after him. The bad guy was running down the street, and Roberto, he was just chasing after him. Now, obviously, Roberto is getting a concealed carry permit, so I asked him, what would you have done if you would have had a gun that day? And he said, Ryan, I would have shot him. Well, is that the right thing to do? Is it legal? I personally don't think it is. If the bad guy has already left your house, if they're already running down the street, we have to stop. The second thing you really got to consider is, when do we stop shooting? In my advanced concealed carry course, level 1, I discuss a 3-step process that every gun owner needs to go through after a self-defense shooting. Step 1 is you need to shoot until the threat is no longer a threat. Step 2 is you need to follow that threat to the ground. And step 3, you need to scan and assess your area for other potential threats. Now, step 1, shooting until the threat is no longer a threat. Is it possible to say threat another time? What that means is we want to shoot our gun into that high center chest area until that bad guy does not have the ability to pose a significant danger to us or other people. So that could mean you fire 1 round, the bad guy drops his weapon, and he collapses to the ground and is gasping for air. So that individual is no longer a significant threat to us. But if he is still grasping and trying to get his weapon, if they are still trying to fight you or attack you, in my opinion, we have to keep going until you and the people around you are safe. Now, step 2, just because you've shot this guy 1, 2, or 5 times doesn't mean that that threat is over. We have to continue to have our gun pointed at that bad guy, waiting until we know for sure that they do not have the ability to pose a significant danger to anyone. Now, step 3, once we have confirmed that the attacker is no longer moving because they are dead, or they no longer pose that significant danger because you've kicked the weapon out of the way or whatever the scenario is, you need to begin scanning and assessing your environment to determine if there is another threat. Is there somebody that you need to shoot? Is there somebody that needs your help? Is there a position of advantage that you could move to that'll help keep you safe from another attacker? These are all questions that you need to be asking yourself as you are scanning your environment. Now, sometimes people can get a little carried away when it comes to using a firearm in self-defense. Recently, I heard a story of this man named Tyrone. So Tyrone was at his girlfriend's house in St. Pete. He was hanging out, and all of a sudden, there was a knock at the front door. The person at the door was another gentleman caller, if you would say. So the young lady, she kind of told the man to leave, and Tyrone kind of finished his evening with this girl, and a couple hours later, decided to walk out of this apartment building. Much to his surprise, this other guy was waiting for him. So this man was upset that this girl was cheating on him, so he was waiting for Tyrone in the parking lot. This aggressor pulls out a knife and began threatening Tyrone. Tyrone pulled out his concealed carry gun and shot the bad guy right in the chest. Tyrone wasn't finished. It wasn't enough for Tyrone, so he decided to walk up, stand over the bad guy, and he shot the bad guy 8 more times. In my personal opinion, this very first gunshot sounds like it was justified based on the information and the story that I was told. However, these additional 8 shots were not justified because the bad guy was no longer a threat. He already dropped the knife, and he did not have the ability to pose a significant danger to Tyrone. This is called excessive use of deadly force. So I recently posted a question on social media, and I asked people, what should you do after a self-defense shooting? Now, I received a lot of strange comments. Some people said, get a selfie. Some people said take a sample of their hair so you have a souvenir. And other people said I would walk up and shoot them in the head to finish them off. Now, I'm sure most of these people are joking, but people actually do this. And then they are shocked when they are on trial for murder for expediting the bad guy's death. So let me paint a scenario here for you a second. So let's imagine that a bad guy breaks into your house. He's stealing stuff. He's got a gun. So you come out of your bedroom like John Wick and you just pop the guy right in the chest. He drops his weapon. And, you know, if you folks have ever gone hunting, killed an animal or something before, if you don't hit that animal in the right spot, they don't just die right away. So they will flop around, their body will seize, and it just takes a few moments for the injury to really kick up. Okay, so the bad guy's been shot in the heart, and let's say you know this guy is gonna die. There's no chance a doctor can save him. They're gonna die. So, but you wanna finish him off. So you walk up and you just pop around right into that bad guy's head. This is called expediting the death. Even though the bad guy was gonna die anyway, you are not allowed to speed up that death. You have to just let them die. Once the threat is over and the bad guy does not have the ability to hurt you or your family, you have to stop. So please remember, knowing when to stop shooting a bad guy is just as critical as knowing when to start shooting.